So the Pisces feels all the ripples in the water, the entire body of the water, the entire ocean, all the vibrations. Sensing the intent of every other entity. That's the most extreme expression of the Pisces. So the Pisces feels caught up in this, in the currents, and feels caught up in the currents and forced to go with the flow. So I put out an ad on Craigslist and wouldn't accept a picture, and it got backlogged. You know, it didn't show up on the newest offerings. Now, I haven't heard back from that guy. Typically what they like to see, what the other guy wanted to see, was the side of the camera to make sure it's authentic. Now, I don't know if this is GoPro. Well, no, this is definitely bought this in the store, and maybe there's a little marking to indicate that it's a trick camera. It's an NSA trick camera. Whatever. People can, you know, they can just install that device and switch yours out. You know, go and pick the lock and go in and exchange yours for theirs. Give you a modified one. This may be a modified one, so $900 for this. You know, I'm just trying to, you know, trying to survive here at this point, because nobody fucking cares. Everybody's all paid off and corrupt and evil, and you know, some lawyers walked by me today, seeming to indicate their interest in, you know, obtaining things like this. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on here. Yeah, and you can't turn off the fucking Wi-Fi. You know, I thought it was just the Wi-Fi, but maybe it's something else, because this thing will shut past cameras that I've had. Well, this other one, it would shut off.
You know, if you know what's wrong with me, and you'd like to buy me lunch at a nice restaurant, well, you certainly can. You can talk to me. I won't kill you. I may look around, you know, briefly. If you'd like to talk to me, you need to actually say, "Hey, can I talk to you?" Or, "Hey, can I talk to you, please?" Whichever seems more natural. You know? But if you smile at me, and you're on your phone, and then you turn and you keep smiling at me, as if to invite me, but you're on your phone, and you keep that phone plastered to your ear, and you keep turning and smiling to me, but you keep talking on your phone. And you keep trying to seem to be beckoning me over, but you keep talking on your phone. Then, well, I'm not going to interrupt you. That's rude, you know. If you're using your phone as a security blanket, I don't know, you know. Just don't know. I put myself out there, you know, a little bit. Try to, anyway. You know. I don't know. Don't know. Don't know that you have what it takes. Sorry. And if you're trying to maybe condition me, you know, I come over and then you say, "I'm talking on the phone right now." You know, for a long time, I mean, there was this little campaign. Some women did that. to me, and that kind of thing to me, and yeah. Yeah, it was during one of those astrological dry spells, of about a year or two. I thought, well, yeah, maybe it's over for me. I think it was about 29, you know. Yeah, I think, all the possibles, they've found somebody, they've married, they've had children. Anyway, I mean, I hope you all enjoyed that. I thought, I hope you all had a good time. And that kind of thing, I mean, yeah. That's just good practice, Because I'm just like this other guy. I'm exactly like this other guy. And, I must, yeah, I'm just exactly like that other guy. Hmm. Because yeah. Or I'm like this type of person that your professor told you about. And you checked all the blocks. Hmm. You checked all these blocks, and there was, yeah, it was a 50% match. Hmm. Your professor said that's good enough. Hmm. Because your professor is very wise and knows how to make a checklist. Hmm. And that form of analysis, that's penetrating enough. And now, you made your threat assessment, and it's time for action. Hmm. Hmm. So keep that up because it's really going to do a lot of good. It's really going to help. You know. Yeah, I'm always just a martyr. I keep doing this. I keep doing this.
Or a battery. Is the speed switch a device for a mass shooter? Why, of course it is, friends. The speed switch, you can reload like 2 seconds faster. Just on the first reload, though. So if it all works out timing-wise just perfectly, maybe he'll kill one more body. Maybe he'll slay one more body. Maybe he'll slay one more body. So if it all works out timing-wise, maybe he'll slay one more body. And we at Speed Switch, we're smiling broadly, knowing we've helped. Yeah, it's for anybody who needs to, who may not have time, to snatch up an extra magazine. And an extra magazine is a good thing to have, You just don't know what you're going into. You just don't know what may happen. Something may happen to that magazine, It could break. You could drop your rifle, and then somebody falls on it, and the magazine breaks. All it takes is, some part of it bent inward or something, and the spring arrested, and it'll stop feeding. You know. Now these Magpul magazines, you know, they'll bend quite a bit before breaking. Everybody, these are well regarded. You know, I don't personally know why you'd buy anything else, but just my opinion. So we have a speed switch for the Gen 3 mags that the Marine Corps adopted more recently. You know, as long as we don't call them assault rifles, it's gonna be okay. Modern sporting rifle. Sporting, yeah, that term fell out of fashion. What, in the 1970s or something? You know, if you're in a little war of your own, couldn't you use a combat rifle? Combat rifle? If you're in a little war of your own, anything can happen. Anything can happen, and you could find yourself in a situation where there just aren't any rules, People try to be real, restrained in most little conflicts, They can probably get by with just their bare hands, or maybe a knife, maybe a taser, maybe pepper spray, maybe an improvised weapon, just like a cup, or a water bottle. We should live in a society. What the fuck? In which everybody takes mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, psilocybin. Yeah, everybody, takes gross psilocybin cubensis mushrooms, takes them on a regular basis, and brainstorms new fucking astounding technologies, and we all become like gods, and nobody's trying to hurt anybody anymore, and all the problems are shortly ironed out, and our collective unconscious minds are just fused in a great energetic fabric of of fascism, perfected fascist global consciousness. Well, not a global consciousness, but humanity united and and transcended. But no, we wouldn't want that, because some people who are addicted to their fucking their dark power, would lose out. They would just be trashed. They would just be sucked in and reformed and spat back out. So we can't have that, We can't have that. And you all, you need to continue to, fear that there may not be enough. And you need to be very greedy. You need to deceive people. What we're next going to do, we're going to go out and torture a homeless man, and then we're going to torture a homeless girl. We're going to torture and kill them. That's next on the agenda, and I think that'll finish out the little movie quite well. We'll get a real sense of of all these things, I'll give a big lecture. Somehow that's gonna... A little human sacrifice, I mean, this is what everybody recommends. We'll get to the truth of the matter, I'll be able to illustrate this and that principle and, just get everything I need. Yeah. Yes, this is a fine little instrument here. With the knife, you can do so much. I'm a knife fighting expert. So many things, So many things, And all these nice little tricks. We'll talk about my EDC. First off, it's this sort of, tried to make it look like something out of a H.R. Geiger painting. What he does, what he did, he's had these visions about these futuristic machines, These ultimate expression machines, high vaunted technology of Satanism. The fears of the 20th century, manifested, in their ultimate forms. Anyway, this is a really great little sheath. Yes. There's neodymium magnets captured there. Pod type arrangement. The top moves, You can't get hung up on anything. Bang into something, and it just shifts. You can shift it and cant it, and have it higher or lower, depending. It doesn't jostle around when you run, or tumble or whatever. I can do an aerial flip, and it doesn't come out of the sheath because it's well retained. It's just really perfect and very silent, and it's got the right amount of retention. Additionally, I've got all these other little gadgets. We could talk about them, but then we could talk about them for the low price of just $3,600. All right, enough. We're getting into some territory that I don't want to go into yet. I'm just describing the future, I'm describing the future. This is what comes of all this kind of shit out there, This government-sponsored domestic terrorism, I'm telling you about what happens. I'm telling you about the reaction. They make monsters. They make monsters. They make devils out of near angels. I never ever wanted to hurt anybody. I simply wanted to understand everything. It's a very meditative little boy, and I would just look at things. And impressions would come to me. All kinds of impressions. I could actually taste the food in other people's mouths if I just concentrated. I could read their thoughts all the damn time. And I would somehow inadvertently reveal that. And people didn't like this, of course, And I figured it out eventually that, oh, other people can't do that. Oh, I see. But I just couldn't resist, half the time, just couldn't resist. And I know it was, I know now it was socially inappropriate what I was doing. Trying to heal the world and all. That was terrible, Trying to say, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you can just do this instead. Well, let's see what happens is there's this dynamic here. If you do that, then these people do this, and there's this reciprocal fucking fucked up thing that happens. And it just keeps cycling and spiraling and building, and I'm sitting there and describing, complex cause and effect chains, and that's just like, oh, you can't. We don't want to think about that. So there it is, I'm not on drugs right now. It's been at least 4 hours since I drank a cup of coffee, in fact. Drugs, to some extent, are good for you, especially psychedelic drugs. They're your birthright. All your ancestors used to use these drugs, but not you, because you need to be the perfect slave. You need to stay very narrow-minded, You need to be a good little fascist. Or you need to be a dead fucking free spirit. And be plowed under. Okay, alright. So I hope that was scary enough for everybody. But I do want to try to really, give some kind of illustration of what the future is going to be. It's FEWTURE. Very few of us are going to make it, I'm afraid. So that's why you need to be you need to develop all these really nasty qualities. You need to be a horrible, horrible person. Yeah. Just harden your heart, and you'll survive. Oh yeah, buddy, you'll survive. Yeah, that's the way. That's the way to do it. Yeah. I shouldn't let these people bother me at all, I've decided that, oh, you know what, I'm not going to have any reaction at all. I'm just, because I don't care. Nothing's being accomplished by me getting angry with them. Next time I'll simply talk. I'll simply, right. And, and I'll let what happens. Let what happen. Just like I used to, Those were the good old days. So we can fade into that. Those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. Those were the good old days,
I love the wilderness.
All you have time to do is to snatch up that rifle and check to see that it's loaded. Well, that's what a speed switch is for, and if you're going to conceal a rifle in a concealment bag, like a short-barreled rifle, a rifle-based pistol, it makes sense to use a speed switch because it's real narrow, friends. It's really very narrow, not like a drum. And you can use any of the different lengths of magazines, the 40 rounds, the 20 round magazines as well. So it's real, and it's quick to configure. You put it together, take it apart in a few seconds. So it's real flat, it's real flat and concealable. Nothing protruding. You know, um, last night I last night I heard he just needs his heart arrested. Words to that effect. Now, of course, there's quite a lot of rumor about heart attack guns and heart attack drugs that are untraceable as yet. And this kind of thing's been going on quite a bit, quite some time. Today I came across in my path a watch with a broken band, as though it had snagged on something. And somebody said, "Oh, it's just a cheap watch. It's broken now." And of course, it was kept ticking. Just the band was broke. I picked it up. I thought, well, and it was a rainy, it was a rainy day, so did not appear to be coated with any contact poisons. I thought maybe the rain would wash it off anyhow. Very shortly, and I noticed, I ripped the rest of the band off, momentarily considering it for some other purpose, but I mean, mechanisms are mechanisms, and they have their uses. But I tossed that away and kept the functional part, the watch itself. Anyway, but I noticed that my heart began to hurt, and in 5 minutes, and I found that my pulse was racing, and I didn't know why, and so I buried the thing. And if I come back, in a day or two, and it's unearthed, then I'll know that it is that was a frequency weapon or something. You see, the nanotech that this last batch seemed to originate in my right eye, as though it had formed there. It had been caused to form there, or it had been injected. From time to time, I have had recovered. I mean, I've recovered memories of situations in which I was dosed with a hypnotic, and I hate to admit this, I hate to. It just it's just the truth, and it just goes to show how vulnerable people are. Somebody who's isolated, such as myself, is vulnerable. In my experience, they'll come upon you. You're maybe seated someplace. They'll show you a weapon. They'll show you some clandestine weapon. Just something. It isn't anything. It's oftentimes just a gun. Conventional gun. But it doesn't look like a gun. It's just some object that they'll open it up. They'll show you the internals. You'll see it's like a silenced 22 with an integral silencer. They showed me this. There's one that had this. It only had a single baffle, It was a spherical baffle. It was kind of complex, but it was really, and that was part of the expanding gases in this prop baffle. It was part of the mechanism of the action. Quite interesting. And most of the report was contained inside this box, this big action box, essentially. There's extra space in there, essentially. It was a repeating 22. And I could see little attachments on the outside where, you know, you could set it up as a trap, or you could, 1,000 things. You know, they often like to poison the bullets as well. This is another thing. So in that kind of situation, I mean, you know, what do you do? They could shoot you, you know, or they could you know, they could engineer an argument, or you know, they could produce a situation, you know, make it look like you are some volatile person, and they shoot you. You know, they end up shooting you, and you know, it takes a while. It may take a while for you to die, you know. And who knows who's around, really? Who knows who's around and in their employ? So there's that. You know. And yeah, I mean, you know, in a particular business, I mean, they'll give those employees the day off. You know, the regular old employees, the day off sometimes. They'll bring in specialists, you know. People who can do the job, you know, people work all kinds of jobs, and that's part of it. And these are people in the community, interestingly, oftentimes. So it seems, anyway, I don't know how it seems. Not anymore. I just don't know. Then on my way home, I came across some estradiol pills, birth control pills. Just pedaling along, my eye was drawn to something. They intend for me to take those. Maybe that would alleviate these the headache and the dry skin and horrible. Yeah, they're 0 to 3 range. It's the center, yeah. Yeah, you can see they're trying to cook my head right now. Put on got a foil beanie under here, so yeah, it's not it drops a little down here. It goes down. This is not the source of it. So Yeah, I don't know. Somebody just moved in over there. This guy, stuff moves around. Heavy stuff gets moved around all the time. I don't know what that's about, but he's got a look to him. He's got an emotionally disconnected look to him, so. Compartmentalized look. Anyway, it just is what it is. I don't like casting aspersions on people. I don't know for sure as yet, Okay. Yeah, it's in the harmful range. It sure is. It's dropping here. Farther we go back. Yeah, there's a hallway there. There's too much space, so they need to get at you pretty close. The microwave emitter. So here it's way fucking high, and that is not usual. Yeah, it's way high here. Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, heavy stuff moving around here, there, everywhere. Now and again, heavy stuff. He's getting paid a little something extra. He's a super patriot, You know how it is. Saw a guy out there smoking, he's got a medium rag haircut. Could be some harmless guy on leave, But I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people in the military. I mean, they will tell you about their gang stalking activities, and you'll just agree with them and say, oh yeah, some people, that's warranted, and yep, At least I would, And somehow they had me figured for somebody who would approve of that, and certainly not everybody would, Not everybody would. Yeah, it's been rough. Been rough these past couple of days. They just, it's like they've stabbed me with a fucking diabolique, like this old French assassin's weapon, this multi-barbed thing. And then what they do on retraction, it would rip your guts out. They've stabbed me with it, and they're twisting it. Every time I exhibit a behavior that they don't like. I say something or I think something that they don't want me to think. It's basic Pavlovian conditioning, Now, these people don't know how to debate you. They don't know how to have a conversation. They're just primitive fucking savages. Well, I'm going to compose this video. So I received this odd voice mail today. A couple of them.
Fire.
Fire, huh? Fire. Okay. Anything else? Fire? Yeah. So this is supposed to be a simulation of some MK Ultra prompt. I'm not that heavily programmed, so this won't work. And then we got this. You know what? I shouldn't play this because this says somebody's last name, a last name that I'm familiar with, a somewhat uncommon last name. And no, I'm not going to play it because then if I did. Somebody would think that I'm, I guess maybe they burned somebody's house down, and they're trying to blame it on me. They got somebody dressed up as me, or maybe it's one of my clones, or I'm supposed to have clones. At least they led me to believe that I do. Way back when, Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, yeah, I don't want to say these things. Yes, it makes me seem really crazy. I know, I know. Yeah, I really hope, somebody's house didn't burn down. Wow, why would they wanna? Oh, it doesn't even matter. These people are nihilists. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. Mm. Yeah, I see. Yep. A couple weeks ago, for a few days, I was seeing all these gangsters with out-of-state plates. They were stalking me. Had me concerned. Had me under continual surveillance. One, was hanging out in his car by the curb out there, and he followed me out, and I put a halt to that though. Caught him going down 11th. I tucked my vehicle away somewhere and hid out for a while, but yeah, they were doing things like they'd leave one they'd leave one sneaker in front of your door. That's a little like a hitman signature thing, and just these creep show young dumb gangster fucking creeps. Yeah, I'd walk out the door. Somebody was always moving to intercept me. Somebody's coming in on a bike. Or I'd see somebody, walking, or I'd see some people out across the street in a car. Oh fuck! Okay, so somebody tried to open up the door. Okay. Okay. I better release that video then. Make it public. Okay. Quiet. Clunk, clunk. Heavy metal objects. What have we got going on now? What have we got going on
Yes,
now?
friends. He never did blow the lid off that story.
Nothing yet.
Never got around to it. He was
Nothing yet.
placed back in jail and given an electromagnetic lobotomy,
Nothing yet, huh? Okay.
so to speak.
Okay, hero. Okay, hero. Anything from over here? No.
Let that be a lesson to all you youngsters out
The heroes
there.
aren't.
Think
The
you
heroes
can make a
over here.
difference.
He's not.
We got it under control.
He is.
You understand that? You understand that? It would
Slacking
behoove
off
you.
today, I guess.
It would behoove you to take my words
Just
of
got
warning
back,
seriously. Or you're gonna wind up like this fucking douchebag.